Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Before jumping into the video, I want to give a big thank you to today's sponsor, Tailored Canvases. They sell home decor through Tailored Canvases for memories that last a lifetime. Their mission is to create high-quality, personalized decor pieces that turn a house into a home. As you can see, they sent us this beautiful canvas with the verse from Song of Solomon, "I have found the one whom my soul loves." I was able to go on their website, pick out the exact size and style I wanted. Many of the canvases come with the ability to customize them, add your last name, different sizes ranging from big to small, different categories from artwork to signs to scripture. All of these are 100% handmade in the USA by local artists. I'll leave their link in the description.
Welcome to Coffee and Bible Time.
Hey everyone, Ash here with Coffee and Bible Time with my husband, Johnny.
Hey.
Okay, we're here with another video because you seem to love it when he is here. All the videos with you get tons of views.
Pressure's on.
So today we're here because we want to give you an update on our marriage and talk about a few things that we have learned so far in marriage that no one told us before. So kind of things that we were shocked about, or I don't know what points you're coming up with. Actually, we came up with these points separately. So everything he says I've never heard, he never talked to me about. Everything I said, this is the first time he's hearing it. So we'll see if any of our points are similar. And yeah, I think it's exciting that we're newlyweds and we're figuring all this out, but also that we can show you that our lives aren't necessarily perfect at all, and we're just trying to figure it out, and you're not alone in your journey as well. So
It's true.
anything you want to say?
No, Neo said it all.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Good, because I have 4 points.
Juicy.
So my first point is that it's really hard to leave your family. And I feel like, I don't know if anyone really told me that at all, that the hardest part for me was gonna be that I would leave my family. And I think everyone has a different situation, but I was living with my family and I'm really close to my family. So I feel like those two factors really made it hard to leave home. But I really focused on the scripture passage that talked about how a husband and wife, when they get married, they need to cling to each other. So I just reminded myself of that and realized that it's actually a good thing that I'm not really close to my family right now, because I need to learn how to cling to my husband. So I just didn't realize how hard it was gonna be.
Ow.
And you, Johnny, experienced firsthand how hard it was for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of tears and a lot of heartache from leaving my family. It didn't mean I wasn't excited to be married or that I was so happy to be with Johnny. It was just a hard transition.
So my first point is that marriage won't fix your dysfunctions. Dysfunctions that you came with to the marriage. A lot of the things that you were struggling with prior to getting married, and it's been really humbling. And you know, I've heard things before, and people were telling us, and we had a premarital class, and we met with people, we read books, and so it was also humbling. And it's not part of my points, but it was humbling because you intellectually think you know it all, and you know all these points and all these methods, all these theories, and then you get married and it's like, whoa, this is completely different. And so all these dysfunctions that you come with, whether it is emotional or just psychological things that you come to, and wow, you realize how hard it is. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I might have emotional struggles and I don't know how to manage anger in some way, so I don't know how to...
And marriage only highlights that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how to manage sadness or my lack of or when I lack emotions. Maybe Ash tells me like, what's wrong? I mean, you know, when guys ask a girl what's wrong, and they're like, nothing, I'm fine, I'm good.
Okay, where is this going?
Just to the fact that we all come with a baggage and sinful behavior and sinful patterns into marriage, and it makes it even messy because we already know that we're both selfish, and you bring two selfish people into a marriage. I mean, human beings are selfish by nature, and so you bring two sinful people to marriage, and it becomes even messier. And you have to just figure it out how to love Ashley well, and how Ashley is supposed to love me well in that way, even in spite of my sins and my dysfunctions. And so that will kind of tie into my second point, but just coming with all this baggage from my life when I was single.
Mm-hmm. The next point I have is how much our individual habits that we had already formed before we met each other had an effect on each other. And I mean, like, people told us this before, but like, I didn't realize the extent of how much the way you live your life when you're single really will affect the other person. Like, for example, like, and it goes into your life now, and these habits aren't necessarily bad things. They can be, but for us it was Johnny's really clean, and for me it was I'm more relaxed. I can have a few more messes around the house, and I don't need things to be super neat and tidy. And so I just didn't realize that those two habits that we had both formed separately came and kind of really clashed, and like that had a really big effect on a lot of our marriage at the first. Just transitioning into two different people, having their own individual habits, coming together and realizing like you really have to figure out how to compromise and like almost like change your habits, because I've had to become a cleaner person and a more neat person, and you've had to become okay with a few more messes around the house or things like that. So I guess I just didn't realize how much it would affect our marriage, because it did at first.
Yeah, for sure. That has caused some tension in our marriage, because I have done things a certain way all my life. Yeah. And I thought that's the way to do it. And then Ash thought that that's to put a pile of clothes like, as tall as Tower of Babel, right? She thought that was okay. And she did that all her life, and so we come together, and then you see these, this Mount Everest of clothes in the room, and then you're like, well, what's happening here, And so having to be okay with that, and the whole aspect of compromising, that word just continues coming up. Like, how do we compromise in a way that is selfless, in a way that is loving, in a way that is gentle? Sometimes it's super hard to find the balance with that, in a way like, okay, we're gonna balance. I'm gonna try to be more loose, and you're trying to manage how you do things, and that we always try. Sometimes we always find that it's super complicated. But I think that's the beauty of it. If you end up marrying somebody who's just like you, super boring. So you need to make sure you marry someone who's, of course, loves Jesus, but it's different than you, right? Opposites attract, I guess. It's not in the Bible, but it's a psychological way that people think like, wow, that's attractive. He's different than me.
You've watched so many more chick flicks than you would have ever in your whole life.
Yeah.
So your life isn't boring anymore.
That's right. Super fun.
Okay, your next point.
Country girl and city
We shouldn't
guy.
rant too much, okay? Because this video is going to be 10 years long.
So my second point is that the way you were raised will come up really quick.
Which I just said pretty much.
It's just kind of what Ashley said. Yeah. It's kind of similar to that. I mean, the way that Ashley was raised, it kind of impacts and affects, like you said, the way that you behave, that you live. The way that your parents handle finances impacts the way that you handle finances. Like, for instance, Ashley is super, what's a better word for stingy? She's a saver. She's a Dave Ramsey kind of girl. And so I am like, let's go blow it all up.
No, you're not. You are not.
No. But in a way, I like to like, hey, let's go have fun. Let's go eat out. Let's go.
Look at the cat behind your head.
Let's go buy some stuff. Let's go sacrifice the kitty. And so all these things, that she like preconceived ideas and things that she did because of her parents, like it came out. And same with my parents, right? My parents are super clean. And so the way I was raised just literally just came up. And so that has caused a lot of conflict and have to like this whole idea of creating a new world together. It's been
which
coming
we
up.
heard about in our marriage counseling.
Yep.
My third point is going to bed angry, which I heard this a lot. Everyone's like, don't go to bed angry. Did you ever hear that?
Of course.
Me. Well, I shouldn't say it like that because it's in the Bible. But that's a scripture passage. It says don't go to bed angry. And I guess
don't let the sun
go down while you're still angry. But, so I heard that before. That wasn't new news. But no one ever said why. Why you shouldn't go to bed angry. It's because you will form a root of bitterness in your heart. And for me, whenever we went to bed angry, I would still be mad the next day, and it would ruin the morning.
Yeah.
And it would ruin the start of the next day because I would still be harboring bitterness from the night before. So I think for me, something that no one ever told me was, oh, this is why you shouldn't go to bed angry, because it's going to affect your heart, and it's going to affect the relationship, and it's going to affect the rest of your day the next day. So I think it's just really important to, I think it's really hard to not go to bed angry, because in that moment you just want to do what your flesh wants, which is like not to work it out, but it's really hard.
So kind of in order to get there, what we do, and sometimes we fall short of that, is that we try to pray as much as we can together. And even we have like a bunch of books in our desks, like in our next to our bed, and we wish that we could read more. But one of the things that we do is like, we know that, you know, the enemy is active and sprawling around and trying to destroy our marriage, and he's going to use something as simple as the bed as a mechanism to destroy us, to distract us, discourage us, and to argue, so that would become not a place of rest for us in an intimate place, but a place of like, hey, this is where you guys find tension. This is where the place where you, instead of resting, oh, I'm gonna make you more anxious and angry. So you know, even know that even when we go to bed, it's a battlefield, and so we have to be actively aware that the enemy is right there. And so, you know, we're gonna punch him in the stinking face, and then we're gonna be like, we're gonna pray, and we're gonna ask God that he will help us, because we cannot do this in our own. And I know we have just an argument, sometimes are petty things, sometimes are serious things. Even in the serious things, I think that we still be like, hey, let's bring it to the Lord. Let's seek reconciliation here.
Your turn.
My third point is apologize 70 times 7. So I knew this whole concept of like, hey, you're gonna have to ask for forgiveness a lot and apologize. And in fact, a lot of people, especially at church, it's become kind of annoying, because everyone that knows that I got married, they come up to me and they go, hey Johnny, how's marriage? And it's a great question, right? I love that they asked it, but at the same time, it's been so much to the point where I'm like, okay, Johnny, you have to come up with a good answer. Next time they ask you how's marriage, I just know what to answer. So I came up with this really quick answer.
I hate it. I don't want him to ever say it again.
So I have never apologized so much in my life.
Oh, I thought you meant, no, what you usually say, we're experts.
No.
I literally hate it when you say that.
No.
You're like, someone says, how's marriage? We're experts now. I'm like,
we know it all, we're writing a book.
I hate that you say that.
It's a way to break the ice. But really, one of the things that I tell people is I haven't apologized so much in my life, and I think that's true. In fact, one of the passages that I keep coming back to is in Matthew 18, this interaction between Peter and Jesus. And when Peter asked, Lord, how often should my brother sin against me and forgive him? Up to 7 times. And Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. Now, I'm not gonna do the math, but if you do the math, it's gonna be a lot of times. And Jesus is not saying specifically you should, you know, repeat, okay, I forgive him, those amount of times, but rather as much as it takes. And so that's true. Like I've fallen short. Even before the video, I had to ask Ashley to forgive me for some attitudes, some things that I said, or the way that I behave. And so I'm constantly reminded to ask for forgiveness when I'm falling short. And even when I feel guilty, like, wow, why do I keep asking for forgiveness for the same thing? Like, I remind myself, hey, I'm a sinner, which shouldn't justify your poor behavior, and that, you know, you should change in that environment, in that way. But at the same time, understand that grace is for the journey. And so that's a beautiful concept, you know, that is centered around Jesus. And so, yeah, asking for forgiveness. I knew that I was gonna apologize a lot, but I didn't know it was gonna be a lot. So it's been really humbling.
And the last thing I had, which I wanted to end this on a positive note. And especially when you're going through marriage counseling and like you're getting advice from people, people are going to tell you all these things that are hard. Like, it's hard, it's hard work, you have to forgive, you have to say sorry, you have to sacrifice, you have to compromise, all those things. But I think something that we lack in is talking about, not just us, but in general about marriage, is talking about the things that are really great. And I think for me, the last point is that although there are a lot of hard things, it's incredible to be on a journey with your best friend and the love of your life. And it's really, there's nothing like being in love, and not even just in love, but having someone who will love you sacrificially, not based off of their feelings all the time, because sometimes you might not feel that in-love feeling, but like being with someone who's committed to you and loves you unconditionally and will never leave your side is incredible. And I think that I would never change that for the whole world. So that's a positive note to end this video on.
And if you're married, just as a quick note, if you're married, like, brag about it with your friends, with the people, and they'll be annoyed, and that's okay. But we live in a culture, in a society, in a Hollywood culture, where like marriage is seen as this thing where like everybody's cheating and everybody's hooking around with other people, and people hate it, and the wife hates it, and it's all
talking bad about their spouse,
and everybody said, yeah, it sucks, it's horrible, and we should be, you know, people, as Christians especially, people that should be known for loving our spouses with all of our hearts and brag about our spouses all the time, to love our marriage and to love this concept of the union with one another, because it's ultimately the union with Jesus, and that's a beautiful idea and reality that God has given us. So and brag about it, enjoy it, without diminishing the hard part, but also like it's so fun. We laugh all the time.
Yeah, and I think for single people who are watching this, because you just addressed married people, but for singles, like, I hope that what this video teaches you is that don't over idolize marriage, because it is hard. It's something that exposes sin. You have to be selfless every single day, but also don't over idolize it, but don't go to the other extreme of thinking it's going to be terrible, I never want to get married. It is this beautiful hard thing. That's what it is. And if that's what God gifts you with, then you should walk in it. And of course, singleness is a gift, being married is a gift. It's all beautiful, incredible things. It's just each gift is different and has its different hardships and blessings. So anyways, I'm gonna close the video here because that was probably pretty long. But we hope this video is encouraging to you. Please check out the playlist with all of me and Johnny's videos, our wedding video, everything. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Hi friend, I just wanted to pop on here to say that the next course in our in-depth Bible study academy is out. It is out, it is on, can you tell I'm excited? I can't even talk. It is on the storyline of the Bible. So many resources in here, so many tools. Me, Taylor, and Mentor Mama, we are teaching, we are walking you through the storyline of the Bible. We're giving you homework, quizzes, readings. This is a course where you are going to grow, whether you're at the absolute beginning or whether you're way down the line and you studied your Bible before. Trust me, you're gonna learn new things that you never knew. I learned new things as I was studying that I never knew, and God humbled me. He brought me to my knees, and I worshiped Him as I was studying because what I was learning about was so incredible. So it's phenomenal. I want to encourage you to go check out Course 2 in the In-Depth Bible Study Academy. I'll have it linked in the description below.